Namaste, so family, sky goddess, and you know, systems all around are being changed. Let me just say that, because when I did that video about the year of the ox frequency 5, that was more of me being led by spirit and still being led by spirit, but I've been really thinking on these changes that will occur in every person on this planet will experience these changes to systems in our lives, and affecting each of the 12 houses. So I spoke about people's appearances being changed, your faces and so on and so forth, your minds being changed. There's a change. There's going to be a changing of minds. And how people value themselves and see themselves. It's a very authentic age, and I feel like so many people have been, looking at themselves through the eyes of, others, and have been weighing themselves through the eyes of others. And now it is a time to see yourself authentically through your own eyes, through your own self, from your own perspective. And so therefore, values are going to begin to change how we value ourselves, and moving to the second house, traditions are going to change. The holidays, celebrations, um, what was considered the norm or the usual, okay, that has been happening from time past, you know they're all gonna change. They're all gonna change, okay? And the way in which we speak and communicate will also change, okay? I mean, people, being detached from the crowd with this Aquarius frequency, we're being forced to detach, okay? Under this frequency, being forced, it's a must, okay? And though a lot of people are fighting against this, frequency, this transformation, which is a death, it will manifest, okay? Because you cannot fight death. When death comes, you must yield, okay? It is a law. It is a universal law, okay? Because that Scorpio frequency is not ever sudden like Uranus, because Uranus is being led by Scorpio, okay? And therefore, this sudden change that has come upon us cannot be changed, cannot be reversed, cannot be stopped, okay? The only change is the changing of these systems, and that's what the frequencies they say. So how we talk to each other will also change. A lot of people have been, wearing a lot of masks, you know, facades. And I'm not talking about the COVID-19, no pun intended right there. Okay? Spiritual mask, okay? Mental mask, financial mask, pretending, okay, to be people who they are not, pretending to be, what, was deemed as, in its varying spectrum, norms and traditions, and those are all being changed. And therefore, when you are an individual and you don't got the backative of the crowd with you, you talk so much more different. Your speech is so much more different, okay? And how we feel, our emotions, they too are changing, okay? And the system, which is our home, okay? And how we feel towards people. A lot of people will be, in the position of the underdog, and so therefore, he who feels it knows it, and therefore a lot of people will be, understanding what it means and how it feels to be an underdog, okay? To feel like a reject and to feel, to be ostracized and outcast, because, there is gonna be a lot of that before, people really gel into the new norm, okay? Because there will always be a norm. It's whatever we've gotten used to and accustomed to. Okay, and then in the fifth house, you've got people's egos changing. So everything, you see how everything ties into everything. So that ego, yeah, you talking different now. You don't talk so big now that you don't got the crowd around you, because guess what? Social distancing has been implemented, and we must obey the laws of the land, right? And so we got people's egos changing. A lot of people are going to be, seen in a different light, a different view by the world and by, just the public. And that is going to, affect their ego. And your ego, is in, value system, that second house, Taurus, that ox frequency, okay? And so the system, the normality, the usual way you were seen or you projected yourself or you felt about yourself, that too is going to change. People's passions are going to change. People's hobbies are going to change because it is a new age, okay? So all them, Leo frequency, stuff, they're going to change. And our children are changing. Yeah, our children too will change. They're not like us when we were children, nor can they be, because they were born and they are being born under different frequencies and times. Okay, and so even our children, they are, different now. Okay, they're not how we're used to children being. Okay, and there are more changes. Okay, to see in our children. They are intellect. Let me just tell you that. Okay, you see how these children, how they maneuver and operate these, technological devices. Oh my God, it's amazing. And it's like, you're seeing, the future unveil before your eyes. That futuristic age where everything is, technology, science, and technology. What a beautiful transition and experience. And as well as the sun, it too, not saying that the sun is changing, who knows with what goes on within the core, but how it is perceived by us is going to change. I'm getting a much colder time, okay? A much colder time. And this may be for some people, but it's going to be a shift in, the effect of the sun on the planet Earth, okay, and the varying hemispheres. So, some places that were really warm are going to suddenly get cold. You ever watch that film, The Day After Tomorrow? That's some truth there. And, I always say movies, they depict reality. A lot of times, a lot of these screenwriters, these playwriters, these people who write these scripts for these films, who got the vision, okay, to write these, these films, these prophecies rather, visual prophecies, they are gifted with, the gift of seeing, clairvoyancy. And a lot of them can, spiritually, they know certain things that will, unfold. But, for them, it is unfold or revealed in them in an artistic sense or way, and so they use that to, they transmit that into films, but it is really, spirit, telling them and, showing them certain things in their spirits, and maybe some of them are not so in tune with their spirits to, know that it is actually a prophecy. This is something that they already felt within their subconscious. It is not just, an idea. And every idea has a beginning, okay? And the beginning is always from spirit, as is our lives, okay? That's where we're from. That's where the life thereof is from spirit, which is also the blood, okay? So we've got, yeah, the sun, like I said, for some people will be getting, a lighter complexion, okay? Lighter complexion, lighter tone, some darker tones, darker complexions, and this is because of, the shifting in frequencies, okay, in the cosmos, even where the sun is concerned, and the receiving of, the sun rays, okay? So, people, like I said, our appearances are gonna change, okay? That's that first house. And people's faces as well, because, the climate does have a lot to do with your skin. It has a lot to do with, even your facial features. It really, really, really does, okay? And so with this shifting, let's say that the climate, therefore, is going to change, okay? So the geographical universal climate is going to change, okay? And we don't, that could be due to global warming that has been, trickling onto, mankind as a huge, 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 repercussion, or let me just say huge ramification. That's what I should say, because this is as a result of something that we, did as a tribe, which was to, not care Mother Earth Gaia, and abusing her, and, just robbing her, of her, you know, grease for her sinews. That's the oil of the earth. No wonder there's so many earthquakes, because you're bleeding the earth dry, and the earth is now, getting drier and drier. It's not lack of rain that makes the earth dry. That too goes into it, and that too is everything is everything. But that oil, it has way more moisture. What has more moisture to you, oil or water? Okay, yes, together they make a fine um, uh, moisture mixture, especially if the water is applied prior to the oil, and that oil seals the water in. Okay, but you are draining the earth, okay? And I know that a lot of these environmentalists, they know, and a lot of them are probably being paid by a lot of these oil companies, so that these oil companies can continue to bleed the earth dry just for the sake of money. And that is why, the main lesson, for this 36-year cycle is, you know, greed. Okay? The greed of all things, of, wealth, of, um, women, of men, wealth of clothing, wealth of all kinds of things. All of that is, gonna stop. And mankind, let me not say mankind, humanity, the tribe of humanity, is really, really being forced to um, leave that frequency of greed, and to traverse that of balance, okay? So greed, that's a very negative aspect or frequency of Pisces, okay? Yeah, very negative, okay, of Pisces. So all the frequencies, though beautiful they are and can be, they can be really demonic and evil if they are out of sync or out of balance with the universe. So that was a very negative, trait of the age of Pisces. Okay, a lot of greed, okay? And especially within from within them people who claim to be religious, because that was kind of their era, kind of, okay, because Pisces is really about the spirit, but spirit is also about the faith. So whether it's a jacked up faith or the right faith, it's a form of faith, okay. And so, yeah, but the sun too, it will change, like I said in I don't remember which one of them video it was, that it's like an eclipse of the sun, okay, because Scorpio, the sun is in Scorpio, but this Pluto is in Aquarius, and it's like, okay, the sun is being transformed, but how it's being eclipsed, because that's sun in Aquarius, okay, an eclipse of the sun. the two similar opposing frequencies overlapping. So that's like an eclipse. So an end to greed, finally. Finally, an end to greed. I've always wished for that. So now that will come to manifest. Okay, that will manifest. And so, also people's, with the changing of people's, um, egos, the thoughts are gonna change, the thought process, um, not so much of an obnoxious thought. Also, yeah, a lot of people are gonna be studying more, thinking more sensibly, with that Mercury, with that Virgo, and well, let me just say Mercury in Sag, okay? But a lot of people are gonna be paranoid about traveling, thinking about traveling. Some really paranoid. Let me just say that, and that is understandable. Okay, with that Mercury in Sag, a lot of people also will be talking about traveling. Okay, yeah, some paranoid, some thinking, some talking about traveling. Um, Some people also are going to be, receiving aid or assistance for travel. Okay, so this could be travel expense. Okay. Um, Also, people's diet are going to start to change. Okay, people's diet and your bowel movement, that too is going to change. You can expect that. Okay, some people may develop irritable bowel syndrome, and where some other people, where you had you know bowel issue, or inconsistency where your bowels were um were considered, you're gonna have a balancing out of that. I'm getting a change to that. It's like a swap or a switch. So it's like we've got a lot of switching over, and this is something that I also spoke about. um, It is like a lot of people who were robbed opportunities. It's like the finger of God interceding on our behalf. Contracts too, those are gonna change, and I already said, people's public image and persona, I think. That goes along with your ego and that first house. In people's routine, everything is changing. How people shop, where they shop, when they shop, what they shop for, people's, choice of studies gonna change too. And a lot of studying in secret, okay, or at home, as where studies are now. We see that where this the educational system or the education system is concerned. Um, a lot of homeschooling. That's what we call that shit. Okay, and we also got people's desires changing. Okay, what what they want to do, because now people are restricted right now. There are a lot of restrictions right now. Okay, not much partying, and the shopping is a bit limited right now where funds and social distancing is concerned, and the curfews and quarantines are concerned. And even certain businesses have closed down. So certain opportunities are now gone for some people, and so that is going to change their desires, their passions. The way in which people have sex too, that's changing. Okay, and it's going to be more of a taboo kind of sex, I surmise. you know but and detached, sadly, so that it's like a lot of promiscuity. And so I'm just warning people, the seeds that you sow, they will fuck you up in the end. Though the frequencies are, like that, it is not, you must always look at the positive aspects. Those are the ones that you are being beckoned to adhere to and follow, not the ones that are gonna get you into trouble. And now I sense a lot of on the job sexual affairs. This is something I've been smelling stink in my nostrils from last year. Okay? It has been a heavy stench in my nostrils, and I think it was rather more like December 2019. But it came on strongly 2020. And a lot of people staying home, quarantine, and a lot of things are gonna be founded out, because I said that in my podcast, and I think maybe some of my other videos on Instagram. A lot of shit is gonna be found out, because now, like I said, a lot of people's freedom is being restricted. Okay, freedom is being restricted because Uranus is in Taurus. Okay, and though Taurus is a region, both Taurus is very rigid. Okay, like the system that is now crumbling down in a very disastrous way, because it is so rigid, and the harder you come, the harder you fall. And so freedom is now, though there's a lot of energies for desiring freedom, because Pluto's in Aquarius, freedom is nonetheless restricted despite the desire. And they go hand in hand, because usually it is what you desire you lose, that Taurus and Scorpio frequency. you know Whatever you desire, you usually eventually lose that shit. It's so sad. Well, I don't feel it's like that for everyone. You lose that if you misuse it. So whatever you desire, you can have that. Okay, okay. If you don't abuse it, and if you don't, if your mind or your desire is not to abuse it, then you will get it. Okay, but you will lose what you desire if you abuse it, like your freedom. Okay, so you have your freedom. Okay, what do? You don't go and you do some heinous crime to get you in prison, right? Okay, so you cherish that freedom and you do goodwill with that freedom. Okay, but if you don't cherish that freedom and do goodwill, and you choose to do evil, then you're gonna lose that freedom and get thrown into prison. Okay, so that I feel that even an idiot can understand that concept. Okay? Whatever you value, you must truly value that thing. And you should cherish that thing and use that thing for goodwill, or you will lose that thing. Okay? And that's the correlation between Taurus and Scorpio, to have and to desire, to lose what you desire. Okay, so to have your desire or to lose your desire, you choose. Okay, so I'm sensing that heavily, and a lot of people are being tested, because listen, it might not be the head boss of where you work who's watching you. It's the Great Spirit, okay? Who, is in control of all these frequencies, these pervading frequencies. And guess what? You slip, you slide, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, the head manager walks in on you during one of them sexual encounters, and you're found out. And then you think to yourself, who the fuck told the boss that you were screwing? You know, who told the CEO? that you were screwing the manager or the supervisor or the coworker on the job, that you were at your workplace when you weren't supposed to be. Who the hell told the manager? Who the hell told the CEO that? The Great Spirit. The Great Spirit created a series of events that would, cause the CEO to walk in on you during one of them encounters. And that is how great God is. And so therefore you never play God and you never play the Spirit. Always respect the Spirit, Always. Too many times I've seen people play the Spirit and think they're so smart or they're so cunning. Okay, you can never outsmart that which created you. Never, because that which created you knows your ins and your outs, because it is it that created you. And it knows how to break you and to even remake you. And so therefore you are powerless to that thing which made you. Okay? And it is so foolish of humanity to think that they can ever be anything without the Creator. It is foolish. And it is foolish to think that we don't have a Creator, because every creation, everything that is living and that is art, and we are art, has a Creator. Now we must think to ourselves, why the fuck can't we see our Creator? What have we done? Why aren't we that holy to be able to see the Creator? Because we know He's real. There's no doubt about that. The only doubt should be, is it that we're not good enough to see His face? And yes, that is what it motherfucking is. Because He sure as hell is real. Me being alive is evidence of that shit. Me having been alive is evidence of that shit, because we all will die one day. All these creations around us, they're all evidences. And maybe that's Him answering me. Maybe it's not important to see Him. His work, being able to behold His handiwork, is a privilege and a blessing. And that is enough to cement and concrete and seal within our minds and subconscious that there is a Creator, that God, there is a Creator for all these creations, okay? And He must, be, acknowledged and showed reverence, okay? So desires are being changed, and even death is being changed, the way in which people die, because we see a lot of people dying from COVID-19. We hear a lot of people dying from COVID-19 and lots more. I already said that. Some may think I'm being pessimistic, but it is what the Spirit says. And so it is, So the way in which people die is also changing, okay? A lot of sudden deaths. And if COVID-19 is gonna kill you, it's not gonna take long. Okay, it is a virus. Okay, and it is not a somewhat mutable virus like the AIDS virus that would somewhat live in you for a while. Like the HIV virus, which would somewhat live in you for a while before turning into AIDS and eventually killing you. This is different. This is more of an expedient virus that will, its effects are, or its judgment is rather very, very swift. So maybe, if you're going to succumb, within days if you're going to succumb to the virus, or, the most weeks, It's not something you live with for months or years, And who knows, maybe some people's got it for, months, who, think they are cured of, this virus. Maybe, months later they'll just, suddenly die from the virus, because it is sudden death, that's where death is, sudden, that Uranus Aquarius frequency. Inheritance is being changed, people changing their wills, making changes to their will. So, some people, are gonna lose their opportunity to, inherit certain, you know, um, inheritances. Some people are gonna lose their opportunity. Some gonna gain that opportunity. Some people gonna be receiving sudden inheritances this year, because sudden death. Where there's sudden death, there's also sudden inheritances. So you gotta, you know, expect that. People make a will, Some people save, and some people they acquire possessions throughout their lifetimes, and they, leave will for their, loved ones. And so we find a lot of that, being issued out, a lot of inheritance this year because, you know, or, as long as, Pluto is transiting that Aquarius frequency, um, you're gonna have that, okay? And we got more years, we got a few more years before Pluto, leaves Aquarius. Um, I'm talking in the sense of Chinese astrology, okay? So we got a few more years. To some, so we got a decade of that shit. No, we don't. Yeah, a decade of that frequency. Okay, I'm not talking the actual celestial body of Pluto transiting Capricorn. I'm talking, Chinese astrology. Okay, year of the ox, frequency 5. And yeah, when Pluto leaves, Capricorn, of course that motherfucker is gonna transit Aquarius because Aquarius follows Capricorn. You feel me? Or Aquarius is Capricorn ascended. And that is, before 2031. So that's like a double Pluto Aquarius because Pluto Aquarius frequency for this second 12-year cycle, um, Chinese astrology. And then, I think it's 2026 or thereabout, Pluto will start its transit in Aquarius because it's gonna leave Capricorn. Okay? And so you've got a synchronized frequencies there between the common astrology and Chinese astrology, or let me say Western astrology and Chinese astrology, you want to call it that, because Pluto in both, okay, studies and in both transits will be in the frequency of Aquarius. Okay, we already have another synchronicity that's currently, you know, um, taking place with, the 11th house, okay, being in Taurus, and Uranus currently transiting Taurus. So that's another synchronicity that we're currently experiencing, okay? I feel like there's going to be a spike in sudden deaths after, Pluto leaves Capricorn in 2000, I think 26. I'm not sure. It's there about then because there's a synchronicity right there. Okay, that is something coming to fruition, like a wish, but I'm not gonna say it's a wish. It's like a mirror effect, which is very powerful. So it creates a physical form. That's like second house frequency Taurus, which is so physical. Okay, and rightly, we are in the year of the ox, and will be in the year of the ox until the end of December, of course. But that, Uranus in Taurus, it is strongly, strongly impacting the physical right now. So we're gonna have lots of sudden deaths even now. Okay, sudden changes to the physical, in other words. So this point in time, This year kind of like really, I feel like some shit is about to go down. Okay, we have not yet reached the half of this year, but I feel like some shit is about to go down. Okay, I don't trust these vaccines. COVID came to do a job, and it should not be messed around with. When I first heard about COVID-19 in December, um, I was listening to BBC with a friend, and instantly I got a nudge from spirit. You know, I don't know how the fuck I started researching about, the influenza virus in 19, I think it was 17 or 18 through to 19, 20, 21. That killed millions that took the lives of millions of people across the world. I don't know how the fuck, but you know, I suddenly started researching that virus, and instantly I got the nudge that this coronavirus at the time that it was being called was no joke. It was gonna be a pandemic like the influenza virus, and it was gonna last a while. And so true. It has, not only become a pandemic, but it has shut down the whole motherfucking globe, which I also predicted. And it is still on, and it is changing shit. So it's like people thought they could change it and kick it out, but it is staying and it is changing shit. You get the gist? Okay, so death ain't the same anymore. I wonder if Pluto was transiting, Aquarius. Then I'm gonna look back at that aspect, because everything is everything. You feel me? Everything is everything. And we also got knowledge being changed and travel. We know that with the travel bans and restrictions. And what people are into now, what people are going to study now, being in your own energy, your true self now starting to emerge. You kind of now having a gist of what your real interests are and what it is you really want to study. So studies toward changing people's perspectives, because you're now not being clouded or influenced by the crowd, but your own frequencies, energies, waves, currents, and flow. And so therefore your perspectives are changing. um, where you travel to, that's also being changed. Let me see, what's that in again? Let me see. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I just had a brain freeze right there. Okay. Also, knowledge can come a bit slow. This time around, that just dawned on me, because I'm like, what the fuck is going on with these brain uh freezes, and my brain pausing and the words sounding so fucked up. But that's, Aquarius being, influenced by, Scorpio and Taurus. Yeah, because Pluto, that's in Aquarius. And Uranus, that's in Taurus. Be honest, true, them two signs are not the smartest signs. That's true. But maybe that's why there's a desire for knowledge now, because people are a bit silly now. People are a bit silly now, and so you usually desire to what you lack, and so people, seem to be a bit silly now. Now that explains a lot, you know. Because, like, I wouldn't say these last sets of videos that I've been doing were really profound. That I even had to write down some of the stuff, because my mind, was a bit cloudy. You feel me? And I feel like I'm thinking a lot about, really subconsciously, I'm thinking about my plans for the future and some things that I really want to manifest, which you all will see and know about that, about them stuff. But I think that's really where my subconscious is. And so, even though I'm here still putting out the work as a Virgo, because that's the way to live and feel alive as a Virgo. My mind is still not here, even now as I'm speaking. And so it's just really, and also with some of the frequencies that will, suffer some speech impediment this year, and so on and so forth. Just take your time and talk. That just came to me, and I'm gonna take that advice. Just take your time and talk. You're not in a rush. Also, the thoughts with that Sagittarius frequency, they are coming so swiftly, and I feel like that's what's causing the brain freezes. Them thoughts are coming too fast, and so it's like, oh, I want to say this, but I also want to say that. Can I wait? What should I say first? And then you sound like an idiot or a klutz, because you don't even know the fucking right shit to say. You feel me? But a lot of Hermetis studies and, even teachings, a lot of people will be learning, from YouTube, from the internet, new hobbies, learning about spirituality. A lot of people will be at home watching spiritual videos too. I hope y'all watching mine. Because I see a lot will be, watching and studying spirituality and watching spiritual gurus and watching spiritualists and watching readings, possibly, intuitives, high priestesses and all of that. A lot of people will be, a bit industrious, with that, 10th house in Aries, Cap rising, very industrious, um, using their minds at Aries frequency. So like I said, a lot of people will be watching, videos online, learning online, and therefore, learning new trades and crafts that they can use to, make ends meet. And so in the workplace, we, also got a lot of people working by themselves because a lot of people are learning new things and they're starting new endeavors. And, a lot of people now are, their own bosses, their own CEOs. A lot of people are entrepreneurs this time because, it's the end of success for some of these businesses, and therefore, um, new openings for new businesses, new entrepreneurs. So it's a changeover, and so it is very good to have an astrologer, personalized astrologer who can guide you and direct you and tell you when it is right for you to make certain investments, because when you have a time of change over and you make certain investments, you are liable to lose that investment. And I saw a lot of people building plazas and yeah, really plazas, for businesses. And the way in which they built them, it was very rigid and fixed for a certain specific kind of business or certain specific kinds of businesses. And I thought to myself, wow, these people wasted so much money because these businesses, they're not, these spaces, they're not gonna um, get purchased or rented or leased. You know why? Because a lot of people are working at home right now. A lot of people, who got businesses at home are gonna get, an increase in commerce and patronage. Because right now, a lot of people aren't, certain businesses aren't allowed to open also. And so them plazas that were constructed and built for specific businesses, there is no money making for them because them businesses are not considered as necessary businesses. And so, you know, what was the point? What was the use? And hence the importance of astrology. You understand me? So a lot of people who got even them businesses that are not mandatory businesses, you know, they may still make money if they operate from home, okay? Because that's where a lot of the wealth is gonna come from, because that's in Aries, and the Aries is in the first house. Okay, your wealth is coming strictly from you, and where are you at? You at home. Okay, you at home. You're not in the public. You're not on stage. You're at home. The stage money making thing is out. It's all about using yourself and your mind and your ideas, and all of them ideas, they are being accumulated and given life at home. That's where all the energy is. That beautiful energy. Okay, that's Cancer in the first house. Okay, so wealth is changing now. Wealth is now more like an individual and not like a group. Okay, a lot of individual wealth, a lot of rags to riches. Millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires. Even that, yeah. Nothing is impossible. Okay, so a lot of rags to riches stories. A lot of self-made millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires in this, 12 years, during this 12-year cycle. So if you ain't innovative, I don't know what's gonna happen to you, because it's the time of being innovative. Okay, innovations. That's the season. Okay, and then moving to the 11th house. Okay, with that Taurus right there. Yeah, Uranus. You're always changing. You're Aquarius. You know how to go with the flow. You're the water bearer. And where are you flowing this time? The new norm. So Aquarius is the new norm. And Aquarius, therefore, with being the new norm, is the new standard of beauty. Okay, so that skinny chick shit. Okay, that's Aquarius flow. That's Aquarius for you, baby. And and also Virgo. Okay, that's also Virgo the model, and so on and so forth. hmm Yeah. So Virgo is now gonna be seen as the ideal beauty. Okay, that's that Virgo in that Mercury in Sag, and Jupiter, and in Jupiter in Pisces. So that is now the new standard of beauty, and knowledge also, like I said, being wise and knowledgeable is also a new standard of beauty, and it's an ideal one. So I must say slim chicks, because that's what that Aquarius Virgo frequency is about. Okay, so um people's people's physique, I said, are gonna be changed. Okay, and so that Aquarius wise, smart ass, know it all person, okay? Because Aquarius is, I know, that person is on fleek right now. That person is taking the stage, the crown, and every goddamn shit. That is good, okay? Okay, and it is in the eighth house. It is what's desired, because it is the new standard of beauty. You feel me? Also, that cold look and that cold feel, it's also a new standard of beauty. That cold feel, because Aquarius is cold, very cold. It's like iron, and though the iron is a can conductor, The iron is a conductor. You see how slow the thoughts are coming. It's like a Mercury retrograde, with Pluto in Aquarius for these, this 12-year cycle. Um, and wait, the real stupid year has not yet begun, people. I'm telling you, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's pray for humanity, okay? But Aquarius is like, cold motherfucking iron. Aquarius is like metal, okay? And it is so far from the sun. Because listen, it's at the opposite end of the sun, okay? It shares that same spectrum as uh, Leo, but it's at one end and Leo's at way over at the motherfucking other end. They are opposites. So Leo's motherfucking hot, Aquarius is motherfucking cold, and it is what is being desired right now. And the transformation of the sun, it's being transformed to a cooler frequency or a colder frequency if that is even possible. So you look and expect to see the sun in a form of eclipse mode. Not saying it's gonna get dark, but that could be Revelation where it said the sun was gonna get darker. I think, Lord, don't chastise me. I'm just paraphrasing, something like that. Okay, so it could be this year that that's gonna happen, or within this 12-year cycle. I don't know, but the sun is gonna be transformed. Okay, the heat, the heat, the heat the heat of the time is going to be transformed. It's going to be a cold motherfucking time. And this could be for the entire globe, the entire planet. I don't know. Okay, but it is saying the sun is going to be transformed and it is a cold time. And right now, let me tell you, people are going to be, reflecting on tradition, what was, even the warmth and the heat of the sun. You feel me? People are going to be reflecting on that. And usually what people lose, that's what they always think about and reflect on their losses. The fact is this. A lot of people gonna be in that retro vibe. I've been getting that from last year. Or was it late 2019? I was getting that, retro vibe. Yeah, I think it was late 2019. I was getting that retro vibe. For this 12-year cycle. I thought it was really for last year, but I realized it's here this year because at second house Leo frequency, that's in the sun traditions, though they're changing, they're still taking center stage because they're being changed. Okay, so a lot of retro energy, people reflecting on what was, because it ain't no more. Okay, it ain't anymore, I should say. Okay, I love changes because I'm an Aquarian all through and through. I'm an Aquarian physically, mentally, and spiritually. I am an Aquarian. Mind, body, soul. Okay? Okay, body, soul, spirit. I am an Aquarian through and through. Okay, and so I love changes. I hate stagnancy. Okay, I want to see progression, ascension, and that's all about Aquarius. And therefore, it is I know, because I gotta know, so I can grow. That's how you grow, by knowing. So you know, you grow. So I know, I grow. And how you know is to be studious, be a hermit, the Virgo, study, okay, and observe the Sagittarius, the sage, the wise one, like an owl, like the hermit, which the owl is more like, the hermit. They hardly make sounds, and they like their peace and silence, and they don't go out much, only really at night. Okay, so good frequencies, them, when you pull on the positive traits and aspects of them. And so we go on to, the 12th house, that spirituality changing, as well as people talking about spirituality, as well as a lot of emphasis on, spirituality on social media. So a lot of communication about it on social media. Like I said, a lot of people going to be watching spiritual gurus, a lot of spiritual gurus, hopefully not too much, and hopefully not them crooks, okay, who are, coming off as spiritual when they're wicked as hell. Okay, they don't even know what spirit is, because yeah, some people really don't got a higher self. Some people don't know spirit. And as a matter of fact, some people, they hate spirit. Yes, that's in some people's natal charts. And I consider them people, the demons that were, sent here to, aid us in growing, teaching us lessons so that we would receive blessings. So, obstacles, but, blessing obstacles, obstacles that teach us so that we can grow. So we will know from them and grow from them. So spirituality also being changed, not spirituality, beliefs being changed. Okay, what's considered spiritual is being changed. And it is really, not Christianity at this point in time. And I hope never ever will be again. Okay, that was like a dumb age in humanity. I believe in God. I believe in the Christ. I believe in, the Holy Spirit, and I believe in the Word of God. But I do not believe in the synagogue of Satan. Okay, and it wasn't really the church. Let me just say, because the church is beautiful and holy, and takes us on to Mount Zion. But this motherfucking system that they had set up to, represent the church was just a facade, was not the church, it's the synagogue of Satan, okay? It bared all the characteristics and traits that, you know, embodies the synagogue of Satan. And the Bible too speaks about the synagogue of Satan. And, being able to, differentiate and to identify. Okay, some of you are too gullible. And because the devil said that he ain't the devil, you believe that he ain't the devil. As if he's going to tell you that he is. You're supposed to use your minds and use your brain and think. Like I said, the 10th house in Aries, use your brain. That's where the user is in right now. It's not in using your system or your grandparents or your spouse or your job or your money. It's using your brain, okay? Or your faith. It's not in using them stuff. It's all about using your head, using your mind. And if you refuse to adhere to that frequency in the most beautiful form that it represents, you're going to be sorry. Do not use anything else than which you're called to use, which is your Aries frequency, your mind, as well as whatever frequency that's in your first house, okay? So that's what you're called to use. So if you've got Taurus in your first house, you're supposed to use your work, okay? And use your mind at work. If it's Gemini, then you got, okay, you're supposed to use your voice, okay? Think, okay? And speak. Think about what you speak. I feel that makes more sense. Think about what you speak, okay? Or use your mind to speak. So you're not going to talk some dumb shit, okay? So use the frequency that is dominating, and that is current, or you're going to get in trouble. Let me say that. That's the only reason why some of you seemingly got away with certain things, because the energies were supposedly conducive. It's not conducive for you using anything else right now, but your mind and your first house frequency. You feel me? Which is your rising sign. Okay? Also, sexual taboos, sudden end to some of them. Okay? So some of you who have been having secret sex affairs, they're gonna end suddenly this year. And rightly so. Though I said, about on the job affairs, they're gonna come, but they're gonna end suddenly. So sudden. You're not even gonna know what if that even happened. What just happened, okay? That's how swiftly they're gonna end. Okay? Because like I said, the energies are not conducive to being petty and being a hoe or a gold digger, okay? Whether a male or a female. Okay? It's not conducive for people to be manipulative. So a sudden end to manipulations as well. So if you have been manipulating someone, or if someone has been manipulating you, that's going to suddenly come to an end. Okay? Today with the moon in Capricorn, I don't know when you guys will get to listen to this. Because you're feeling most useful, whilst the moon will transiting Capricorn. Make sure that usefulness that you're feeling, okay, is not to use others, okay? Double emphasis on that, okay? So, um, use be in the frequencies that you're called to use. Okay? So, though a lot of these sexual escapades will, arise, they're going to suddenly come to an end, and also they're going to be exposed. Okay? So, a lot of exposure on the workplace, and a lot of exposing of codependencies and toxicities. So, if you have been doing something that's wicked as hell, wicked and demonic as hell, that is going to get exposed this year. Let me tell you that. I'm telling you, because that's the frequencies, and that's why I said it's not conducive to do certain shit. Okay? Spirituality is being changed, and what is considered spiritual and who is considered spiritual, that too is changing. So of course, because a lot of motherfuckers gonna get exposed, so of course they're gonna be seen differently, because I said people's egos are gonna get changed. A lot of people's egos are gonna get hurt. Okay, a lot of people gonna get fucked by the universe, okay, and by others, okay. So if you've been playing the fields and playing with people's feelings, you're gonna get hurt this year and throughout this 12-year cycle, okay. It's gonna happen at some point throughout this 12-year cycle, because karma and the judge is on the shit, okay. Karma is here, the judge is here, and they're in for no bullshit. Let me just say that. So that was me that running through, the 12 houses again. Okay, and if something else comes to spirit, if I receive more downloads, I will do it again. Okay, but shit is changing right before our eyes, and I feel privileged and blessed to be alive to witness these changes. They're beautiful changes, and changes in my favor. You know, they're trickling in. You know, but be patient. Be patient, okay? So that's what I got for y'all in this day.